Hey guys, and welcome back to another week of the Victory Lutheran Church podcast. Name in progress. Stick with me on that one. But hey, we're here again today. We got Joel Bowman and Pastor Sean Bowman, father-son duo of Victory Lutheran Church, joining me today on the podcast. Today, we're just going to have some fun going back and forth. We're going to be talking about a lot of the fun things that we're seeing so far this fall in ministry around Victory Lutheran Church. And also maybe just talking about, like, hey, some of the things that we're seeing with, trends. Like, what are we seeing with the youth today? I mean, it's a totally different generation than what I or maybe even you grew up with knowing. So with that, I'm going to bring them on camera here. Say hello to Joel and Pastor Sean.
Hey, Conan.
How you doing?
Awesome. Hey, so real quick, just to kind of get things going here, here's a question I always kind of like to throw out as like an icebreaker. Who would win in a fight, a taco or a burrito?
I'd say taco because they were around first.
Right?
Chicken and egg. I don't know.
Okay.
I'd probably have to go. Well, I mean, you could look at this from two different angles. The taco has a crunchy shell.
Right. We're talking hard shell tacos.
Hard shell here, yeah, that's what I was expecting. So if you break off a segment of it, it could be kind of sharp and dangerous.
Right.
But on the other hand, the burrito has the weight, right?
Right.
It can kind of throw around its weight and big body. So
That's true.
I guess I would probably go with the fact that the taco could penetrate through and stab the burrito and maybe spill out all of his refried beans all over the ground.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So right there, and if for those that are listening, I'd love to see your comments too, see your take on this. Who do you think would win in a fight? A taco, keep in mind hard shell taco, or a soft burrito with nice refried beans here? Oh, and we're shameless plug here for Taco Bell. We are not an affiliate sponsor.
No,
but
we
they are
would be if you gave us some money. Taco
right.
Bell.
They do have the delicious Baja Blast, which seems to be like all the rage with the youth here. Hey, man, so just real quick here. I know we all of us here in this room, we love football, right?
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the whole Minnesota Vikings situation right now in the quarterback room? How are we feeling?
I think we brought in Carson. He is doing wonderful. Been very happy with Carson. He could have easily won every single one of his games. His job is to help get JJ ready to go. JJ's a work in progress. I'll be okay with whatever Coach K decides. If he decides to want to keep Carson in and work in JJ a little bit, that's fine. If he decides to put JJ back in and have Carson kind of work with him off the side, that's fine. I'm good with it. I don't expect us to be a Super Bowl contender this year. In fact, if we make it to the playoffs, I'll be shocked and happy. But if we could hit a little over 500, just keep winning a few, chipping along. Let's learn, let's grow. That's my thoughts on that. But Joel here, he's a Giants fan, Conan. He doesn't care about the Vikings.
That's true. How do you feel about your Giants, Joel?
Not too happy, but Jackson Dart looks like the man. So
He's the man.
you know what? The truth is, as long as we keep holding on to the ball and don't fumble away the game, I think we have a bright future ahead of us. So,
I think you're on
and
something.
as far as Carson Wentz goes, here's the thing. We all remember what happened in 2017. Carson Wentz was the MVP frontrunner. He got injured. Nick Foles took his spot, took his team to the Super Bowl, and won the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. What if, guys? I don't even need to say it. You guys all know what I'm thinking.
Here we go.
The complete inverse happens. Carson Wentz steps in,
Yeah.
leads the Vikings to the Super Bowl as a backup, wins the whole thing,
My dream.
and
man.
rides off in the sunset.
Conan, that'd be my number one dream.
You know,
That'd be
that
perfection.
That would honestly be like the chef's kiss to the end of your career. Like,
Great.
You know, you're probably not going to be more than a backup quarterback from this point on. If you could just walk away, hang it up on a Super Bowl,
Oh,
what
dude.
an incredible feeling that would be.
Unbelievable. And to do it with his favorite home team.
Right. Seriously, the hometown hero, Carson Wentz. Everyone loves him.
Right.
Apparently, his
Awesome.
grandma lives here in Jamestown. So
Yes.
if she's watching this, hello.
A few blocks from us, actually.
You're welcome to come
From
to
where my
Victory
wife
anytime. We would love to worship with you.
Amen.
Just
I
kidding.
think he's got some other relatives live in J-Town, too.
Yeah, man. It's been a fun season, and then with us Seahawks fans, shameless
Hey,
plug here.
Sam Darnold.
But you know what?
we gifted
You guys gifted us Sam Darnold, and then NDSU gave us the best gift of all.
Dude,
in
we
Gray
should. The
Zabel.
Vikings should have had him.
Dude,
he's a hometown boy.
He is a dog,
I
man.
know.
I love
He's
that
knocking
kid.
out of the park.
He's the number one interior offensive lineman in the league.
Ooh!
The kid can run a 4.9 40.
That's freaky. That's freaky.
I've never seen an offensive line move that
He's
fast.
a stud.
No, he is a stud.
They should just give him the ball and let him be the running back.
Seriously. Well, we could sit here and talk football all day, and I
Yeah.
know we could do it, but we should probably hop into our topic here. So we're going to talk ministry, things that are going
Amen.
on around Victory.
Yeah.
Man, it's been such a fun fall. We've had Awanas kicking off, confirmations kicked off, youth group is kicked off. We have pretty much a small group happening every day of the week,
Yeah.
except for maybe Friday. I
Right.
think Friday's the only day we don't really have much going on, but
Yeah.
every day of the week, there's something happening.
Well,
Let's talk about it.
I got to tell you, we're going to talk about Joel. We're going to talk about his youth ministry today. We're going to highlight that. But it really wouldn't be fair to do that until we went back. How far back? All the way back. I came in 2004. And when I came in 2004, I would say we had on average 60, 70 worshipers on a Sunday.
Wow.
We brought on Luke Fisness, and eventually brought on John Kildee. We grew it up to about a 250 on a Sunday. John left, Pastor Kevin left, Luke Fisness left, and we started kind of over again. And when we started bringing new faces on board, one of those faces was you, Conan.
No, yeah.
And
6 years ago now.
we had I would say on our lower days it'd be the 140s, 50s, 60s. On our upper days the 210, 220, 230s. But we definitely were nowhere where we had originally been, and I knew we could maybe one day get back to those 250s where we had once been. And so we called this young man out in the Seattle area who wasn't even married, brought his fiance here. They checked the church out. All we could afford, Conan, at the time was, because we're busy trying to pay off a brand new church, was a partial salary. He, crazy enough, says yes to it. And I said, hey, Conan, we really need a youth guy, but I can see your gifting is in music. One day maybe we can make you a full-time music guy, and would you just get us through by wearing two hats same time, and
Really, it was
pay
three.
you with a half a salary? And Conan's like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And really, Conan, you really blessed our church. You walked us through. Church started growing, started moving ahead, and there came a point where I realized Conan's forte. If you have never heard our worship service, he's an amazing worship leader, amazing, and he
You
works.
got to be here in person.
He works with our.
folks.
Got to be here.
Sorry.
He got to be here in person. But he had been holding down the fort with the youth, and the youth in our church were coming, and it was good. But
20,
I
30
remembered back in the day when Luke Fisness was rocking and rolling, and so I thought let's move Conan into his niche, which is music. And let's see if we can find a good youth guy. So I called my son Joel. He's working at Inspiration Point. I said, Joel, find me a really good guy. So Joel's like, hey, try this guy. Oh, I got this guy. Give him a call. So I'm reaching out to all these different people. Finally, one day, I was talking to one of my elders, and Dwight says, why wouldn't Joel want to come? And I'm like, this is his hometown. He'd never want to come back here. And Dwight said, do you mind if I call him and ask him? I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't even waste your time. But here's his number. You can try it. Dwight calls Joel. They have a nice long talk. Bling to blang to ding. Joel decides, yeah, I'll come back. And so he comes back in June, gets the party started in June. And from the time he come to the time he gets married, end of August, Joel's rocking it. And he's got some old numbers that we used to see, like Luke Fisness. And I just want to let him talk to you a little bit, because I believe that when it comes to our denomination, our church, I think we've got one of the most premier, best worship leaders in the country. And now I think we have one of the premier, best youth leaders in the country. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying God has blessed us, and we are grateful to God. And things are really rocking around our church. We have souls getting saved, souls being discipled, growing in their faith. We have ministry going on 7 days a week. These door hinges are really wearing off. And I want Joel to just share with you folks what youth group is looking like, what's going on. Awesome things are happening. Joel, tell us what it was like to step into this new assignment here at Victory, not as Pastor Sean's son, but as Victory's new youth man here at Victory.
Yeah, it was very exciting. I was looking forward to the opportunity to get to know all of these kids. Obviously, I came here as a youth group guy myself. I was in Conan's youth group, grew up in his church.
Shout out.
Yep, shout out Conan. But, when I got here, I didn't recognize basically any of the students that were in the youth group, even the high schoolers. I had been gone long enough to where all of the students that were in the youth group I had never really met or gotten close with when I was still going to this church because, I left my junior year of high school. So going into my senior year was when I went to Hillcrest, and I've been gone ever since. So when I got here, I had to reacclimate myself with all of the students, even with the church staff. Obviously, I knew my dad and Conan and Faye somewhat, but other than that, I'd never really, I had never met John, basically. I guess I'd interact with him once or twice, but, so I was learning the landscape while trying to meet all of these students, and it was a very exciting time. When I first got here, the youth group had some decent numbers, but I would say the main kids in our youth group were kind of the core of kids that had stayed after Conan left. They were kind of the ones that weathered through the whole storm of overturn and whatnot, but it wasn't a big crew by any means. I think, between the high school and middle school, there was maybe, I don't even know, maybe 10, 15 kids, something like that. And, so when I got here, I was excited to meet them all. But one of the first things I started to explain to them was, and this is something that's important to recognize even as my dad's been talking about numbers this whole time, saying that we had 250 back in the day and we're trying to shoot for more, is the purpose of talking about that is not simply to view our church as a business or something where all we're worried about is numbers, because that's not the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is trying to get as many people as we can to share the gospel with.
Amen.
So the more people that walk into our door are the more people that get to hear the gospel.
Amen.
So we should never feel ashamed about bragging about numbers.
Right.
And the truth is, there are some churches that don't have big numbers, and for those churches, their job is to minister to the people that are in their congregations. And their job is to go out and try and, find new people that can come to their church. And for us, our job is the same. Minister to the people that are in our pews and be the people that are going out in the community, inviting our friends to come to the church, because we want this church to constantly grow. So it's the same concept with my youth group. And I tell the youth group kids every single week, the purpose of this youth group is for you guys to be ministered to the gospel and for you guys to bring your friends in here, your friends that don't know Jesus, so that they can be introduced to him. Your
Right.
friends that know Jesus but are maybe straying off the road, for
Right.
them to get re-engaged in their relationship with Jesus. So there's multifacets to coming to youth group and getting bigger numbers. But that is the purpose for our church, for our youth group, for any ministry that we're doing. That's why we want to grow.
Right.
That's why we want to grow ministries. It's not a business. This is ministry.
Amen.
So, with all of that said, we had 15 kids, probably, maybe 20, I don't know, something like that.
How about in the senior high group?
In the senior high specifically, I maybe 7 or 8. Probably 7 or 8 kids that would have shown up on probably the first week. We had
Right.
combined the middle school and high school.
Yep.
So we had 20 kids accumulatively.
Yep. Between both middle school and high school.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing that Pastor Sean doesn't have a mic, so people that are listening probably like, wait, what's happening? So yeah, I'll try to recap that. Sorry.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Anyways, so when I got here, one of the first things that my dad told me to do was invite the youth group kids to go to Dairy Queen one night, and my cousin, Adam Kusler, who played for SDSU on the national championship team when they won in 2023, he works for the FCA now, so he was saying, hey, I want to come to Jamestown and talk to the youth. So my dad's like, hey, invite all the kids to come down and listen to Adam. He's going to share his testimony. So I did, and sure enough, I just told a couple of the guys in the youth group, like, hey, make sure to invite your friends and get as many people here as you can. And to my absolute surprise, I was expecting to maybe see 7 or 8 kids. There was like 16, 17 kids. And there was probably 10 kids that I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
So I'm, introducing myself to all these kids, like, hey, man, what's your name? And I was so excited to see all these new kids come through, get to hear from Adam. And then once Adam was done, I got to talk a little bit. and I just told them about the youth group that we're going to be kind of relaunching, and I was like really excited to have some of these kids maybe come back and get, kind of acquainted with these kids.
Yeah.
And praise be to God, they did come to the youth group after, and through the summer we saw our numbers just go up and up and up and up.
It's been a constant uptick.
And it felt, honestly, it kind of feels almost like I'm like a scientist working with some like radioactive, material. Like it's almost like unsustainable. Like the numbers are rising at such a drastic rate. It's actually kind of mind blowing. I'm not gonna lie. And tonight we have Wednesday youth group, so hopefully the numbers rise even more. But every single week we've seen growth. Which, if you guys don't know, maybe some of you guys have never really been in ministries or something like that where you've gotten to see, but that's not normal. It's not normal to have your numbers rise every single week, week after week for 3 months straight. But that's been happening. And I think the answers can vary, some of it being that me and Elle, my wife, she's 19, I'm 22, she's going to turn 20 here in a couple months. We are obviously young, so we have a good way of being in touch with these youth, and we kind of know how to minister to them, how to kind of engage with them in a way that really is exciting them. So I think that's one of the things that's helping.
Yeah.
I think another thing is the youth group kids themselves are doing an A+ job of inviting their friends, because that's the biggest key is, hey man, come to youth group tonight. I really want you to come to youth group. It's a fun thing. It's a place where you could hang out with your peers. You get to hear about Jesus. There's a lot of positives. So they're doing a good job of inviting. I think me and Elle are doing a good job of engaging with them. And I think just in general, the whole vibe and the atmosphere is really on an upswing.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, just this last week, if you're wondering about, kind of like stone hard numbers, we had 36 senior hires.
Wow.
And 12 middle schoolers.
Dude.
By the way, the middle school numbers, I think those are about to jump through the roof.
I bet you they will.
I have a feeling those are about to jump through the roof. But yeah, I mean it's been really just a great job on both fronts. So our youth group has really been growing super well, and it's a blessing to see. So
awesome. Well, I want to be respectful of everyone's time here. I know we're getting kind of close here. I know you got somewhere you got to be here pretty soon. So
Yeah, I do.
let's kind of wrap this thing up here. But I just want to maybe just ask Joel one last question here.
sure.
Maybe it's not so much a question, but like if you were to meet with a youth worker, whether or not they're in the LB, church denomination or not, but what would you say to somebody that maybe is like struggling with like getting kids to come? What would be your encouragement to them?
Okay. I think I know what I would say. It's not as hard as you think. And that might seem not like a ton of encouragement if you've been at it for years and it's just a struggle to try and get kids to come. But I promise it's not as hard as you think. It's just a couple little things. So if I had to rattle off like 3 things right out of the gates, one would be, don't feel like you need as many volunteers as you maybe have. If you have 7, 8, 9 volunteers and 5 kids coming, the overabundance of volunteers, the ratio being so heavily volunteer driven, is going to make the high schoolers feel like it's not really a youth group, it's more of just a church activity, right? So it needs to feel like a youth group, like emphasis on youth. So that's the first thing I would say. Second thing is, a high schooler or a middle schooler, they're not looking for much other than games, fun games, snacks, music, and a quick lesson that is really insightful and good. So it doesn't need to be a 45-minute sermon. Honestly, every message I give is between 10 and 15 minutes. Yeah. So that's really what you're shooting for. And if you can do those 4 things, then I think you'll instantly start to see improvement in your youth group numbers. That's literally all I've done so far. I have plans of starting to do more and more. As youth group grows and I get more volunteers, I want to incorporate small groups. I want to start incorporating a worship group that, we have worship every single night. Right. But right now, I don't have the infrastructure to do that, just because right now the only people is me and Elle at the youth group. So I'm still looking for volunteers and whatnot. But That's really what you're going for.
Yeah.
Is an environment that is welcoming to them.
Right.
You know,
Being consistent, I think, is another key.
Consistency is key. And the last thing is, and this is a lesson I learned right away, like the first week I ever did youth group. I walked in and I was so nervous because I felt like I had to facilitate the fun. I was like, hey, I need to have all these games planned. I need to do this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no. High schoolers know how to have fun.
They just want to hang out.
You don't, yeah, exactly. You don't need to teach a high schooler how to have fun.
Oh, yeah.
So I was in a room. I was trying to talk to them. I was trying to get them to have fun. They were all just like, not talking, being very awkward and shy. And then I left because I was like, I started freaking out. And so I left the room and I started setting up tables. And I heard from across the room some laughing and giggling inside the room. And I kind of poked my head in and I saw them all talking to each other and having fun. And it was like, duh, they're friends with each other. They don't want to talk to a random 20-year-old guy that just met them a minute ago and is trying to awkwardly be super exciting and have fun. It's like they're going to have fun with each other. Once they get to know me, then maybe we can start to have more fun. And that has happened over the months as I've gotten to know them. Now I can start to kind of do things with them and have fun. But right away, just let them do what they want to do. And that's going to be, they're just going to want to talk, hang out, throw a ball around. So anyways, yeah, I would just say stick to the basics, stick to what's simple. Yeah.
All right.
And try and put yourself in the mindset of a high schooler. Like, what would a high schooler want to do, and pretty much do that. And sometimes high school is stupid, and you can't obviously do everything a high schooler wants to do. Like, one time our high schoolers had little, it was 4th of July, and they had the little sparklers, and they were stabbing their monster energies with the fire things, and anyways, so I had to shut them down on that. But
yeah, no problem.
Anyways, so does that answer the question?
Yep, I think that's good.
And if you have any people, Conan, contacting you or messaging on this video, you could give them my number and they could message me and I could kind of talk to them.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, I'm figuring this out too. By the way,
Yeah.
I started 3 months ago. I'm very new to this, so I don't have all the answers. I'm just answering what I know best.
I gotta go, guys.
All right. Well, that's Pastor Sean exiting off the stage left there. And we didn't just have him pick up and hang up the phone on somebody. So whoever called,
It is what it is.
I apologize.
It is what it is. This is the life of podcasting.
Call back in 5 minutes. I'll
Yeah.
answer the phone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Do you have any other? How much time we got?
Oh, we got time. I mean,
So
we
here's
could
something.
go.
Here's something I want to throw out.
We're at 22 minutes.
If you want to do another fun icebreaker, I want to ask, what do you think is better, Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
Oh my gosh, man, that's a loaded question because I love both of those things. I love Lord of the Rings, great books, great cinema, I mean, I remember going to watch those in the theater as a kid.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't that young, but I was I don't know, 10, 11 years old.
Sure.
It's right in the prime of I was just getting into that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And my grandma was a huge proponent of that. She loved to read, so she gifted my sister and I the Lord of the Rings set and the Hobbit. So I read all those books as a 9-year-old, way above my reading level. It was a hard read, but I loved it. It was so in depth. But I also loved reading Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people out there that'll be there's just with the whole magic element, it's not kosher and all that stuff. For me, it was just I keyed in on the whole the narrative of love kind of overpowers evil, and I see a lot of Christ-centered themes in both.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings more so just because there's a whole I don't know. There's a whole thing about it. I've had conversations with many friends about
100%.
it. I even think I've had conversations with you where it's how do we see the parallels between the scriptures and Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. If you look at the narrative of the Lord of the Rings, it really is one that's telling a story of good versus evil.
Right. And it's crazy to me. I read those books, I watched the movies, and when you look at the life of Tolkien, who wrote this masterpiece, when he's describing, scenes in Mordor, and I'm closing my eyes and everything is just it's I pictured the World War I battlefield that Tolkien was on, and like he served as an ambulance driver, and he saw some pretty hellacious things.
Right.
And I'm just like, wow, like the way he's describing this, it's just like it's like hell on earth.
And this is one of the points that I kind of want to bring up, because my answer to this is I feel that Lord of the Rings is much better.
Oh yeah.
I understand if you like Harry Potter, but I just watched the first Harry Potter movie with Elle this last weekend for the first time.
You got to read the books, man. Read the books.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I do need
the books. I mean, the movies were okay, but
Yeah.
like honestly, the books for me were like what got me hooked.
That's fair. I've never read the books, and I've never even watched movies 2 through 8 or however many there are.
Yeah, there's.
But I watched the first movie, and here's what I'll say about the first movie.
Yeah.
The first Harry Potter movie is a children's movie.
Oh yeah.
It was created for 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
But like think about it this way though. That's the whole point of the thing. Like you grew up with Harry Potter.
Yeah, that makes sense. The main character is 11 years old,
And like
right?
that's the whole.
So here's the thing: as a Harry Potter fan, if you can just simply admit, yes, the first movie was for children,
oh yeah.
and as the
100%.
movies progressed, it got more and more mature.
Yep.
Even the final movies, though, the 7th and 8th movie, I was talking to my brother Luke, and he said they're kind of a teen, thriller, similar to like a movie like Divergent.
Right.
It's
I
they're
mean, they
even
all came out around the same time.
even
but
those
yeah.
movies aren't as, even the latest movie is not even 10% as mature as the Lord of the Rings movies.
Right.
And it makes sense when you think about the authors. Because
Right.
one was, I think J.K. Rowling was like homeless at the time, and she was probably in her mid-20s, 30s, I don't know.
I think she was like in her late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, so she
somewhere
was a homeless woman in her 30s, and the person who wrote Lord of the Rings was an Oxford professor who had served in World War I.
there. Right.
And one had written a fantasy story about young kids going to a boarding school that has magic in it, whereas the other is a movie about someone has to traverse through a whole land with a ring that is signifying evil and all these different things. There's so many
Right.
biblical themes at play.
Right.
I mean, I just feel like we're comparing.
I mean, you're talking about a guy that literally created a language for his book.
Yeah, multiple languages.
Right, like he created a language.
I feel like we're comparing I feel like we're comparing like St. Augustine's like Confessions to like, I don't know, what's like a super simplistic book, like The Hungry Caterpillar. Like, in my opinion, that's the level of disparity
Yeah.
between these two.
Oh yeah.
And again, I'm coming from someone who hasn't digested all
Yeah.
of Harry Potter content there's and maybe I would gain a little bit more respect.
Yeah.
But just from how I've kind of seen Harry Potter and from what I know about the story to Lord of the Rings, it's really not a contest. Now,
Oh,
for
yeah, for
children,
sure.
for a fun fantasy movie for the family, yeah, I'm sure Harry Potter is a more kind of
It's
exciting movie.
The thing that I really enjoyed about Harry Potter, like, because I mean, it's definitely a millennial thing. Like we grew up with it. Like when it came out, I was like 7 or 8 years old. But when the movies came out, it was like I was Harry Potter's age. So it was like
Yeah.
I got to grow up with Harry Potter.
Yes.
And Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley and like the first movie. Yeah, you said it was very much like a kids movie. And because that was the magical element, like it was your first exposure to like this magical world that you didn't know existed until like
Right.
a couple months ago when you got a letter from Hogwarts.
Yeah.
And then like the next movie, it's like you're starting to get exposed to the more mature themes of like, hey, it's not all rainbows and butterflies over here in Wizarding World.
Right.
And then the third movie, it's like, okay, we're 13 years old. Now we're starting to get exposed to the even like more evil themes.
Yeah, and I think that's another good point that you're talking about, which is that because you grew up, I think that Harry Potter for your generation was something that you guys latched onto and really loved.
Right.
But I think Lord of the Rings has a more timeless story.
I mean, let's be real. We had our choices of Harry Potter or Twilight.
Yeah, exactly.
Which one am I gonna go for, folks? I'm
Yep.
gonna watch. I'm not. I tried to watch Twilight. Like Kiara, our foreign exchange student we had here, she tried to get me to watch it. I got through 2 of the movies, and I'm like, as soon as they started sparkling, I'm like, nope, cannot do this.
Even
anymore.
though the movies were based in Washington, you still didn't give it a go.
absolutely trash. That's my opinion. I'm sorry if I offended you with my opinion. It's my opinion though, and I don't bash anyone that likes Twilight, but it's not.
Have you
for
ever
me.
been to where they recorded the movies?
I mean, I grew up in Washington, dude. Of course.
Anyways, but yeah, I just think that Lord of the Rings has a more timeless tale, and
Right.
over time, it's going to be it's going to withstand
Right.
the walls of time.
I think so. Like Lord of the Rings, Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe, I would kind of chalk up into the same category. You
Sure.
know, you had two fantastic authors, Tolkien and why am I spacing on his name?
C.S.
now?
Lewis?
Thank you, C.S. Lewis. I'm sorry, that's a name I should never forget. I should almost repent right now for that. I'm sorry. I repent that I forgot C.S. Lewis's name.
It's okay.
Thank you for forgiving me. And you can see we like to have some fun on this podcast. We're not all
Not all
serious.
theology, not all church, but
yeah, exactly. But we
a
just like
good
to have
amount.
fun. But hey, if you want to chime in on the comments down here and let us know, like, what are some of your thoughts on these things? I mean, we talked about a taco and a burrito, who would win in a fight.
right.
We were just talking about we went from that to talking about youth ministry and specifically youth ministry happening here in Jamestown.
Right.
Joel's kicking my butt. Like when I look, when I try to compare myself to Joel when he's down, like why was I even here?
Well, but here's the thing, Conan. I think this is another good thing to point out, actually, for people that might be watching is different people have different giftings.
Amen.
Like
Amen.
I would not be able to do what you do on Sunday mornings, leading the worship the way you do.
Right.
And it's not that I'm better or my dad is better than other pastors in the LB or whatever denomination just because they have a smaller church. Because every single person has their own gifting.
Right.
And some people can do a great job of bringing everyone in and ministering to the large reaches, but then they really struggle with the one-on-one, the quiet person that really has a tender spirit. And other people, they don't have a big booming presence, but they do really well at ministering to that one person.
Yeah.
And all gifts in God's eyes are viewed the exact same.
Amen.
So ultimately, what my desire is to be someone that does bring as many kids as I can into the youth group. But then for me to surround myself with volunteers and leaders that do a better job of ministering, to the kids that might be off in the corner that I can't direct all my attention to at one time because I'm managing everything at once.
Right.
And that's really the key of the church is I could be the eyes, but I can't be the nose or the ear. Right? And you can be the ear, but not the nose or the mouth. So we all have our separate roles. And God has given every single one in the church a special gift.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like I'm going to use sailing tactics because that's just kind of how I correlate. Growing up in Washington, you go sailing, right?
Yep.
Not everybody can steer the ship. Not everybody can run the rigging. Not everybody can You have to have certain people in certain roles in order for the ship to function the way it should. And the church is no different.
Mm-hmm.
We got our youth person in place, Joel. We got Pastor Sean, who's kind of heading the ship. He's the captain. He kind of gives us the marching orders. Myself as the worship leader and the tech guy and the social media guy and whatever else guy.
Right, and that job is constantly evolving and getting more important as our world is becoming more.
And even Pastor John, I asked him the other day, do we even know your title, what your role really is? Because it seems like it always changes.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's youth ministry or children's ministry or Sunday school or Awanas or young adults, police chaplaincy,
young families.
He's just, it's everywhere.
Yeah. And
it kind of goes to show you, the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few.
Yeah.
And that's where, we as staff, we can only do so much. We need to have our volunteers too, right?
Yes.
And that's where I'm super blessed, at least in the worship and tech, where I have an abundance of volunteers, and we're always looking for more. So hey, if you play an instrument, sing, like technology, holla at your boy, because we need more people.
And just as we got done saying, because that there's a role for everyone, there is a role for everyone.
Right.
Even who's the lady that comes in and helps fold pamphlets for Faye?
Oh, LaVon Anderson.
LaVon Anderson. LaVon is such a sweet, kind,
she is.
Elderly woman,
Yes.
and she has her important role. If she didn't come up here and help fold pamphlets, which I actually heard she might be done doing that, but
I don't know.
But you know what? If she's done, thank you for your service over the years of what you did for us.
Seriously.
And even whoever you are, wherever you are at in age or gender or whatever, whatever qualification or classification you want to put yourself in, whether you're a young guy or an old woman or this or that, everybody has special gifting. And we can find something for everyone. So please, truly, come to the church office whenever. We're open Mondays through Fridays. And talk to Faye or John or my dad or me or Conan. And we can try and find a place to plug you in the church because we're always looking for volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
And that goes, I mean, even if you're watching this podcast and you don't even live in our state, find a local church.
Yeah.
Go talk to your local church, because I guarantee you, if you go into any church and to say, hey, where do you need help?
100%.
I'm sure somebody would be like, hey, we need help on the greet team. Or, hey, we got to, at one of the churches I used to work at, they would have a team of people, and this is a big church, mind you. And this was 10 years ago before technology really took off. So we didn't have the whole phone pamphlet thing that we have access to nowadays. But you know what I'm saying? So we had a team of 50 elderly, and I hate to use that term elderly, but it was the senior group in the church, and they would come together on Thursdays and fold bulletins for the weekend services, and we're talking thousands of bulletins for this church, and they would do it, and they loved to do it. And it's one of those things where you don't really think about it when you're taking a bulletin on a Sunday morning, and thinking you're not going to sit there and think, oh, somebody took the time to fold this and put this together for me. You just take it because it's there. And so it is a thankless job, but it's one of those jobs where if somebody didn't do it, you would notice really fast.
Yep.
And but I guarantee you go to any church anywhere in this country, in this world, and you just say, hey, where do you need help? Or maybe you're somebody that's got some really incredible giftings. Maybe you're an awesome photographer. Talk to the church. I'm sure they would love to get a photographer in for
100%.
certain events, just to document and take pictures for them, so then they have something to show to the community. Hey, this is the stuff that we're doing. That's an ask that I'm gonna make. So here's my shameless plug. If you're a photographer, not thinking about you, Keela Lawrence, if you're watching this, but if you're a photographer, come talk to me. I'd love to get you plugged in. Where if there's an event or Christmas Eve, come in and help document, because I can't be in two places at once when I'm leading worship.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to take pictures, but
I
don't always have that ability.
Yep.
But we're getting kind of late on time here. It's we're 37 minutes into this thing, but
hey guys, I'll just say right now, if you sat through this whole thing and watched for 37 minutes, shout out to you.
Seriously, you're the real MVP.
You are the MVP.
We should let's do a three clap for this one.
All right, here we go.
Claps. Here we go. 3 claps for you.
Three
if you
claps.
watched
You get
all
3 claps.
37 minutes of this. We like to have fun here on the show, and we're looking forward to seeing where this goes. Right now we're in Pastor Sean's office. We are going to set up in the back room at some point,
sooner or later.
So you might notice over the next couple months, things might be looking a little differently. We might get more technology to play with. But right now, this is just what it's going to be, and we enjoy being here. We like going live when we can. Right now, I'm not going to lie, we're not live. This was pre-recorded.
Boo.
I know. That's
Kidding.
bad.
Conan's going to be in a more fun place.
Yeah.
He'll be in a better place.
I'm going to be on vacation, so they let me go once in a while. I do miss being here when I am on vacation, though. But when I'm back in town, we will be live for the most part. I'm going to work on trying to get things synced up to where we can be live both simultaneously on YouTube and Facebook, because that would be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And it would just open the doors to getting more people involved. Like my mom, who's only on YouTube right now. So, because she deleted social media, because why not?
It's fair.
But
it's going to be broadening our reach, and who knows where this podcast goes. Maybe it'll only ever just be our church watching. Maybe it'll just be you faithful few that are on. Maybe there's 0 people watching.
There's probably 0 people watching, because let's be real, it's Jamestown, North Dakota.
At this point, we've done 2 podcasts and we're talking into the void.
Right.
If you are watching, I want you to prove it by coming up to me or Conan on Sunday and bringing up which is better, Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter.
Yeah.
That'll be a good proof.
Shoot us a message over here on the page. You can leave a comment down below. But be for sure to like or subscribe if you're on YouTube. You can hit that little bell icon down there. But like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. And just connect. We want to connect with you guys, and we want to have dialogue. We want to have a back and forth with you guys and be able to engage with you. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about next week, but we'll have fun, and we'll
always have a topic. I think that potentially the direction this podcast could go is getting more theologically focused.
Yeah.
So we could potentially someday have certain questions that you guys ask us, like, why did God allow evil?
Right.
And we could dive into that. The answer might surprise you, shock you. Maybe
Right.
you know it. But that's kind of, I think, a direction we could go. Maybe we have some podcasts that are very much just focused on this church. Maybe it could be fun topics. Maybe some week we could just do a batch of fun questions. So,
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll probably get people like Pastor John on here once in a while to talk about stuff. We might even do sermon debriefs, like talking about what we talked about last Sunday.
Yeah.
We might do that next week. Who knows?
Yep.
Because I know Pastor Sean is going to be preaching, I think, on the 19th. So, because Pastor John's going to be in Nicaragua. Oh, we could talk about that. The Nicaragua missions trip. That's coming up. Yeah, and then the worship team is going to be fresh back from the Worship Innovators, because that's where they're at now. And if you guys are watching this right now, on Tuesday, I will be on vacation, so technically I'm not in the office, even though you're watching me in the office right now. That's crazy.
This is trippy.
And now I'm just like
I'm looking at Conan while he's not in the office.
This is getting weird, guys. This is getting really weird. But we, like I said, we like to have fun here on the show, and we're so glad to be able to be here with you guys. We hope that you enjoy watching the show.
Share it, by the way.
Yeah, share this post. Share it with a friend. Share it on your timeline.
Right. We're just starting, guys. It's like a toddler taking his first baby steps,
right.
And I guess toddlers already walk. Baby taking first baby steps.
There you go.
And we need all the help we can get to get this thing off the ground. It's fun. Listen, podcasting is fun. I can't lie. I understand why people do it.
Yeah. Now I understand why people can literally sit here for over an hour and talk. We're at 42 minutes already.
Right.
And
as long as it feels like there are people listening to a conversation, it kind of is like, hey,
right,
we're just talking.
We're just
people are listening.
Yeah, we're just gonna have a good time. But we would encourage you guys, engage with us in the comments. We will read them, and we'll address them in the comments. Or if you guys want to take it to a private message, feel free to message us on the page. We'll message you back. But yeah, we just love you guys. We'll be praying for you guys. But with that being said, we're gonna wrap things up here. But tune in with us next week. We're going to probably be going, I think Tuesdays at noon. I think we're going to do like the lunch hour.
It's a good time to go.
Maybe we should just call it the lunch hour at Victory.
That could work, honestly.
At least until we move to the back rooms, then we can call it the back rooms of Victory.
Maybe we could call it the Guild.
The Guild. Oh, yes. I still got the rock.
That's true.
I still got that rock.
Maybe we could bring out the rock.
Stole from the mountain.
Yeah.
I won't say anything about that.
Or the coffee grounds. Yeah, we'll explain that in another episode.
Yeah,
anyways,
that'll come back. That'll come up.
Yeah, we're excited to have you guys. So
Any
if this is
thoughts?
it, I'll just say thank you guys for watching. Again, to the faithful few, shout out you guys. Share it, like it, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. Thank you guys for watching.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys, that's the end of our show for today. So glad that you're here with us. Join us again next Tuesday, 12 o'clock Central, for the lunch hour. I like the feel of that one for right now. We're going to stick with the lunch hour here at Victory Lutheran Church. We're so glad that you're here. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, like our page, and follow us and subscribe on YouTube. I will be posting a link below in the video. So feel free to come and join us for the ride here. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. All right, you guys, God bless, and we will see you next week.